Hey everyone, I'm Ace of Garlic Reds, but you can just call me Ace or Athena. So, first of all, how are we liking the new look for the channel, right? I'm trying the whole PNG tuber thing with my Sona, and I finally got someone to help me with audio mixing. And huge thank you to them, actually. It's a huge help because I'm having trouble with it, so I might try and learn at some point. But the whole PNG thing, I'm trying it. I don't know if I like it. If I like it, I'll continue. If not, I won't. You'll see in my next upload, I guess. So, a few weeks ago, I was watching these videos by Emma Artley, who is a creator that I absolutely love, and it was her redesigning some of her old OCs, and I was inspired to do it with some of mine. And now, yes, I've updated these OCs like a million times. Those who follow me on other social medias will have seen that I have redesigned them almost yearly at this point. But here is kind of a redesign that is an update. It's kind of a soft redesign, but it's a big change to their original look. But the main backstory of these OCs is that two of them were originally nameless, at least to my knowledge, Harry Potter OCs, and they looked like this. These two are the OCs that carried over. And then around 2021, after discussing these OCs with a couple friends, I decided, hey, I want this one to be a vampire. And again, I had no idea for names, so then I asked some of the friends I had met that year, who were the friends I was discussing these OCs with before, and the names Tynan Stroud and Denzel Spector were born. And that, again, they're these two. These other two don't matter because they don't exist anymore. Then in 2022, I created Jaden Dane, their badass Aroace fairy best friend. But wait, she wasn't originally Aroace, actually. She was originally supposed to date one of Denzel's sisters, but now she's an Aroace icon. Because, of course I will. I'm Aroace, I'm gonna have a badass Aroace character. Duh. And then finally we have Alena Craxum. Her original form is something I am not the proudest of. And so was her original character. Like, her original personality, and I like her design. Her design barely changed, but her original personality was something I'm not the proudest of. She was originally a character who's meant to be in love with Denzel and meant to be a fake rival for Tynan and Denzel's romance, which was never actually going to happen because Denzel, in my characterization of him over the past 5 years, has been a gay man. So giving him a fake female love interest is something I'm not proud of. So that is no longer actually a part of her character, but now she is a lesbian and has no more romantic interest in Denzel, which I'm glad I changed. And then this is the design I used from early 2023 onwards. So I redesigned them, and then I used those designs for all of 2024. They're also the ones that I shared to Artfight, and let me just tell you, I got some gorgeous attacks via these designs, and I am extremely thankful for all of them. And to all of the people who drew my OCs, I scream every time I look at them. Like, I scream to myself, and they make me so happy. I'm so, that's whatever happens when I get fan art of my characters. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Let me get back to this. So, before I start the main redesign process, I wanted to say that specifically Denzel and Aelena's formal outfits shown in this video are designed by one of my amazing Instagram mutuals, LemonH. Their profile will be linked in the description as well as shown on screen right here. And so now that you've gotten some context of their original forms and their designs, here are my redesigns for them. So Denzel is my main character. He's been the main character of this story for the last 4 years that they've had a genuine story. Not actually 4 years, it's more 2 years. They got an actual story in 2022, and since we're only in early 2025, that counts as about 2 years. If that's how time works, yes, it kind of does. I don't know. So he is an author and historian who specifically focuses on interspecies relationships, like the different species in their world, which is very different from our world. So they have different species like vampires, witches, fairies, which I'll get into the lore of later. And so he has over 9 books published, with a mix of history and general like fiction. I haven't fully decided what they're all about yet, but I know he's gotten many, he's published many books, mostly about history because that is his special interest. He likes history. And he's working on his 10th right now, which is a big go-through of all the interspecies relationships specifically to do with witches, as he is a witch. And specifically, the story takes place during the writing of the last chapter, and which is specifically about vampires who have a historically tense relationship, which I will get into a little more later, because it's more relevant for another character, which you will see in a bit. And this is taking him across a journey all over their realm with his best friend Jaden, and he makes new friends along the way too. He is the second youngest of 6 children. He's got 2 older sisters, an older non-binary sibling, a younger sibling, and a twin sister. All of them are going to be pictured here, and you can find all of them on Miscellaneous other social medias, all linked in the description. And so he and Jaden had initially met through their older siblings. Destiny, who is Denzel's older sister, or one of, I had to say one of because he's got multiple, and Jaden's older brother Andy, and then the 2 of them slowly become best friends, and they are basically inseparable. They see each other like siblings because they kind of are, due to the fact that they're in-laws. I don't know how this sort of dynamic works. You know what, this is a story I'm going off of because I created these OCs, and I can dictate they have whatever relationships I want them to have because I have full control over that. And so Denzel's books are really successful, with many being used in history classes all around the realm, specifically for the witch history classes being taught in all levels of school, because he has different levels of history because he wants it to be accessible to everyone. He likes accessibility. And so out of the group, he definitely gets along with Jaden the best because, you know, they're best friends. And then it's definitely Aelina. He and Aelina have a great friendship. They're really sweet, fond of characters. I'll get more into Alina's character and why I think she gets along with everyone really well when I talk about her specifically. But at the beginning, at least, and throughout the first arc of their story, he and Tynan are very much distant, but then they get closer, obviously, because they are definitely going to be a romantic couple in later installments, and that's basically that's where Denzel's part ends. And now on to Jaden.
Presenting the magic-tastical back-flipping rubber duck! That spits fire!
Well, it's not very clever.
Your first wife didn't seem to hate what I had up.
Take that, depression!
God, who am I kidding? This sucks!
Jaden is Denzel's best friend, like I said before. Jaden has to be one of my favorite OCs I've ever made design-wise. I think it's just because I really like pink, but I also enjoy the elements like her eyes and her wings, and she's just super fun to draw. With Jaden, I wanted to have her with a more muscular body type, because in the past year or so, I've struggled with drawing muscular characters. And now I am a little more confident than I was in the past. I still need practice, obviously, but I am definitely better than I was, let's say, 2 years ago. because that's what constant practice does. Now, I mentioned before that Jaden is an Aroace character, and she's still definitely staying that way. I would never change that, because I, as an Aroace person, want to see more Aroace characters who are on the younger side, who don't all fit into the same box. I have a really neat video, or at least I think it's neat, because I made it, but this is a video that I made about Donnie from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it is about Aroace people and Aroace representation, kind of. But if you want to hear more about my opinions on Aroace stuff, you can check that out if you'd like. Shameless plug. But and in my experience watching media, because I love media, I love consuming stuff, and all of the Aroace characters I've seen, or at least the majority of them that are canon, they are older characters. The only two characters I can kind of think of that break that mold are both from Heartstopper, which is a series I absolutely love, and it's Tori Spring, and specifically from the show Isaac, because I don't think he's in the comics. I haven't caught up. I don't know if he was added since the show, but I think they're both pretty good Aroace representation. But back to my OCs. And so I made Jaden Aroace, proud of it, and she's definitely gotten the body count question a few times. You know, the questions sometimes that women get that is, oh, what's your body count? And so she doesn't fully understand, but she is also an assassin for hire because I can, and nobody can stop me with that. And she says, oh, maybe 100 or so? Why? Are you interested? And then the person asking her gets all weird about it, because some people are just really weird about the fact that women can have sex lives and be with more than one person, because people, I'm not going to get into that. But she hits her after being called a couple nasty things that I'm not going to say here, because I just don't want to say those things. Then she's like, oh, you meant that body count. No, I'm Aroace that thinks sex is nasty. And she loves watching the look on people's faces when they realize what type of body count she means. And I think that's hilarious. So she is also 4'10". She is very intimidating, and because of the fact that she is, you know, short, angry, buff, and she's got a resting bitch face. So I don't know, like, I love that kind of character. I love characters who, like, look intimidating, but then are just like, oh, you're so tiny. Oh, wait, you can kill me. You've got a sword. And I love her for that. She's also more than just this little gal. Like, she's also just, like, she messes around with her friends. She can be really silly. She makes jokes. And growing up, she was always really close with her moms and her brother. And here is going to be a quick lore drop for my series and this everything. Fairies can only be assigned female at birth. So male fairies do exist, but it does mean that they're all trans. So that is specifically kind of represented in Jaden's older brother, Andy. And I love that. She's super, super supportive. Everyone is super supportive of each other, because I need a nice story about these characters kind of lifting each other up in their experiences and their lives. So, yay. Oh, why am I rambling so much? And then Jaden also has many, many, many connections. She has from her previous jobs, because, you know, she's an assassin. She's also just really good with networking. She's close with Aelina through the fact that they're both care deeply about their friends and families. And with Tynan, they both have a passion for weapons, and especially swords. And that is all the current lore I have for Jaden. And now to the lovely, amazing Alena Craxon.
He played you for a fool, Blue. Well, I have a hunch. See, I've been searching for years for a super rare and shiny gem called the Paradox Prism. Legend speaks of untold power, and it's buried deep within the Green Hill bedrock. My guess is that he used your power against you to try to find it. You left the door open.
She is the most recent character added to this OC project because, like I said before, Denzel and Tynan have been there since 2020. They have existed since 2020. And Jaden is about 2021 to 2022. I don't really know. It definitely said something on the old art I did, but I don't like that. I don't want to keep looking at it. But Alena was created in mid to late 2022. And she is probably the one who I have changed the most design-wise. Because, yeah, it's mostly in her color palette. She was originally way more of a turquoisey blue with more bluer colors. And now she's got a more teal, greeny color palette. Because I just think that fits her better. I think it looks nicer with the skin tone I chose, with everything else. I just love her so much. And I've also changed her eyes to be a little less human than it is, and gave her sharp teeth, because, oh my gosh, give mermaids sharp teeth. Did I mention she's a mermaid? Well, she's a mermaid. And so my goal with mermaids is that they are a lot more... I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe why I made them this way. I just did because I like designing stuff. I want to have more diversity in my characters body-wise. And yeah. And instead of being pansexual like she was originally, she is now a lesbian, likes women, only women. She loves women. And so she is also a princess. But before... she was very naive. She was very Ariel from The Little Mermaid, like the original one, because Ariel was naive. Let's get that over with. She was naive, but she does have her own goals. In the movie, I'm gonna stop talking about Disney right now. She is Aelina, a very smart character. She is very powerful, and she is by far the most powerful character in my current OC lineup. She is a very caring character. That's a tongue twister. And let me tell you, her design was so hard to get down. So again, I ran off to my lovely mutual who helped design her a lovely formula, which I absolutely love. My mutual absolutely delivered 8. I don't know what other words to use to describe it. I love it so much. She looks beautiful, amazing. I love it. 10 out of 10. Amazing. Aelina is also the tallest of my 4 OCs, sitting at about 6'2". I will have a height reference, basically like a height chart I made of them at the very end. And with her design, I wanted to input some elements that I wanted to see from mermaids, like when she was in her more fishy form without legs, no nose, with gills. She has gills. All mermaids have gills, and they don't have a nose. Because why do mermaids have noses? Oh yeah, conventionally attractive. I don't know. And I gave her less realistic eyes, but like, no one in this lineup has truly realistic looking eyes, because that's just, boring. But I'm making them magic. I like a fun looking eye. And so in this series, the majority of it takes place on land. I'm just saying that it's like all on land. None of it really takes place in the water, at least for the first installment. I don't know about the other ones, but you might be saying, Athena, but you gave her a nose. Well, yes, I did. But that's only with her legs and her human form. Her choker that she wears covers up her gills, and her necklace choker thing uses enchantments to mask it, basically. gets rid of her tail, gives her legs, and then makes her look a little more human. Like, gets rid of like the flipper ear things. I don't know how to describe it other than it's magic. When something like that happens, the wizard did it, you know? But her legs are still scaly. She still has some of her more fantastical features, like her webbed fingers, her ears. And so let me just say this. They're not like Ariel. These mermaids do not wear those silly shell bras. Both male and female mermaids are topless. But yeah, that is basically what I have for Aelina at this point in time. And now finally, last but not least, Tynan Stroud.
You can talk, you can teach. Wayfinding. Lesson 1. Hit it. Wow. The shiny, glittery cave. And just like me, it is covered in sparkly treasure. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
So, Tynan as a character has been very much difficult to place down, his personality and that sort of thing, but I think I have a version of him that I like now. Mostly design-wise, because his design has always been one of my least favorites. It's still my least favorite out of these 4, but it is hard to compare when you have 2 gorgeous women and then Denzel with everything that's going on with his entire gender. I love their designs so much, but I actually really like what I have for Tynan's design now. And so for his backstory has been something that I've had down the entire time that he has been a vampire. His whole thing is that he is a vampire prince, and he's got a shitty dad, he's got a dead mom. That is where the history with witches comes in, because witches have had a history of not getting along with vampires. They butt heads a lot, and so when a rogue witch came in and killed the vampire queen, who was Tynan's mother and the king's wife, which makes her the queen. I don't know, my brain is not functioning well today. I had a physics exam. Cut that part out. It's a physics exam. So for Tynan specifically, he basically saw his mom die. If it hadn't been for the guards, he would probably be dead too. But yeah, so he was very cold around Denzel at first, very distant, but over the course of the first installment, they do get more friendly with each other. They start, they have a little bit of banter. I don't know, I just wanted them to have a nice steady friendship first before I dove into the romantic plot with them, because I feel like that's important. But I'm not going to go too into the story because I don't know how much that will change specifically from my original plan for it, like multiple years ago. But I do want to have a bit where they're basically one-on-one talking with each other when they realize they do have bits in common. They both don't have their moms, but rather than having a distant father who has extremely high expectations for him, like having a certain set of skills, acting a certain way, being a specific way, like having an unsupportive dad basically to your interest, and basically doing whatever he wants you to do in Tynan's case. And then for Denzel has the complete opposite. He's got a really supportive dad. His dad is absolutely lovely. He's also got the support system with his sisters, and that is the core difference between the two of them. They both were raised basically by a single dad, because their mom passed away in their formative years, and they had very different childhoods because they have very different fathers. And eventually they both realize that they can, talk to each other. They have a good bond. I just love them so much. I love them so much. And other characters wise, he is out of all of them, before he gets really close with Denzel, at the very beginning, he is the closest with Jaden because she's the only one he knows. But they're really close because, like I said before, they both like weapons, specifically swords and stuff. And she's also someone he can talk to, and he knows he won't, be judged for it and all. But then he gets pretty close with Aelina because they're both royals who are the heirs. And yeah, that's kind of all I have for Tynan right now. And I realized that most of this part was me talking about his relationship with Denzel, but that is what I have the most fleshed out so far. I promise you he's going to be his own character outside of his romantic plot and outside of his father and that sort of thing. He's able to express himself more after his father dies under mysterious circumstances. Mysterious as in, I'm just gonna say this now, Jaden kills him. Tynan isn't close with his dad, he doesn't care, his dad was a piece of shit anyways. But that is all I have for Tynan, basically.
I need you to know that my life is way better because I met you.
So what?
Like, honestly, I'm having a proper full-on gay crisis.
What if it was? You jealous?
Well, a dog died.
Do you ever feel like you're only doing things because everyone else is?
And so here are all their fiction character sheets. All of these sheets can be found on my Instagram, my Tumblr, which are all linked in the description. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments if you want who your favorite of these character designs are. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!